Welcome to Difference She Makes, a brand new 6-part series where you and I uncover African women transforming justice, shaping institutions, and expanding what power looks like across the continent. I'm your host, Adele Onyango. This series is part of a broader initiative exploring how women's leadership is changing the law not just on paper, but in everyday life. Across the series, you and I will discover what really shifts when women lead. As you watch the series, we invite you to reflect on what you're hearing. And after this episode, you will have the chance to share your perspective through a short survey. Now, this episode takes us into the rooms where legal frameworks for the future are being built. We'll meet Odunoluwa Longe, whose work sits at the heart of how startups, innovation, and policy intersect.
I think it's a problem if regulation is ahead of innovation, because if regulation is ahead of innovation, it's going to stifle growth. Tech founders are beginning to know that they need to have these conversations. And if you don't put yourself forward to have these conversations, regulation will be built around you that won't work for you.
It won't include your opinions, your views.
Yeah, so you have to be part of that conversation and not shy away from it and not fight with those who are tasked with creating that regulation.
Before we begin, we wanted to hear from you. How do you think women navigate traditionally male-dominated sectors or fields? Let us know in the comments. As the founder of TLP Advisory and co-founder of DIY Law, Odunoluwa Longe has helped shape how startups navigate law, innovation, and growth, including contributing to the drafting of the Nigeria Startup Bill. Today, she helps us see how specialized legal fields are shaping Africa's future and why women belong at the center of building the systems that power tomorrow's economies. Just listening to the work that you do, like the first thing that intrigues me is your area of specialization. So what drew you to want to work with first startups and expanding more into like those in the innovation and tech space?
Pretty much organic, I would say. I started off my career working in a law firm. So I worked with one of the top law firms in Nigeria. And then I moved in-house to work with investment banks. I worked with 2 investment banks. And while working in an investment bank, I did private equity, which is investing in businesses, but on larger businesses. But at this point, I started developing an affinity for the business side and not the investor side, working with the founders. Along this time, my friends started founding tech startups and they would reach out to me for advice. Now, the legal space in Nigeria at that time was such that you didn't have a lot of, it was just the big law firms that did the corporate commercial type of advisory, and the smaller businesses couldn't afford this law firm. So when my friends would reach out, I was doing this for free. I just loved giving them the support. And then one day someone asked me, can you do this on a retained basis? I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be getting paid for this? And well, I said, yes, I can do this on a retained basis. And came up with a name, just started brainstorming, sleepless nights. And I followed my passion, I would say. I followed my love. And not long after, I had my co-founder from Kola. So my co-founder is from Kola. We were both working in the same investment bank at that time. And at that point, she was my advisor, not a co-founder. Yeah. So I would bounce things off. We chose the logo together. We chose the name together. But a few months down the line, like, you know what? Let's do this thing together. Yeah. You don't just be an advisor. And yeah, that's how we ended up starting TLP Advisory. It started off as the Longe Practice because I started it alone at that time. So TLP is short form of the Longe Practice, which is what we are now. And it's been just following our passion of helping business grow in Nigeria, supporting founders, supporting the whole ecosystem, and just making venture thrive and helping SMEs grow.
What did the space look like for women, especially at that time in Nigeria? Were there many women doing what you were doing or even taking that jump that you were taking?
Let's start with the legal field generally. Of course, we've always had more male lawyers. In the beginning, you in the early career stage, you have almost a gender balance. You have women and men, but as they progress in their careers, it tapers out. You have more men becoming partners. You have more men founding law firms, and fewer women who do that. So it was novel, and this wasn't just law. It was a mix of law and tech.
Yeah.
Tech. There's a reason why it's called Tech Bros, not Texas. It's
true.
It's Tech Bros.
Yeah.
Even I call myself a tech bro, right? So it's a male-dominated field as well. But Funkola and I did not see gender. We just saw what we wanted to build. We knew what we wanted to do. We knew we were just about entrepreneurs. We're here to support entrepreneurs. And we didn't see ourselves as female lawyers. We saw ourselves as excellent lawyers going in to build something, going in to make a difference. And with that, I wouldn't say closed our eyes, but we ignored that set, what could have held us back. Like, we're just going there to put our best foot forward, regardless of whether we're women or not. And that's been our ethos since. It's still our ethos. We're there to be the best lawyers that can be in that space and not the best female lawyers.
You were kind of sandwiched between two male-dominated spaces. So it's like the legal space, male-dominated, and then we have the tech space that you mainly serve that's also male-dominated. Like, did you feel like you had to prove your expertise, or were they more like, we need this service right now?
I'll tell you something, we were fortunate. Some of our early mentors, especially in the tech space, were, of course, obviously women, but they did. I remember my early introductions, the first time I had to work on a complicated investment documents. And while I was coming, I did have investment background, but it's different, it's nuanced. I was coming for private equity and I was faced with a venture capital document, and I was a bit confused. I reached out to a male friend, look, do you have any introductions? And the introduction was to a male investor who was very helpful. So I don't know if it was, okay, let me indulge this person, but we did get people who helped us. I didn't have any female mentors, not because I didn't want them, but there were not many women in that sector. So there was no one I could reach out to. And while, yes, there were some men who weren't exactly supportive, I did get a lot of, all the help that we got at that time were actually from men introducing us, connecting us with people who could help us. There was no one doing what we're doing, so I also thought that added to the novelty of let us support this person who's building something that doesn't exist in this ecosystem. So we did get that support.
Do you think there's a way that a gendered bias comes in how, be it clients or peers, would view authority or expertise? You're like, yes, sister.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. And there's even from your own self.
Oh, wow.
Because sometimes you think, or I think, not everyone, let me speak for myself. At some point, I think I'm past that now, but at some point, I thought I had to act a certain way to be able to gain the respect, gain the authority, to be able to lead. And it stresses you because that's not who you are at the core. I was trying to lead in a way that wasn't me, and it did stress me mentally, emotionally. But remembering who I was and being confident that even the way I led was enough, was good enough, and returning to that core went a long way. Within our team, there's the respect. And I think it comes with also doing things well, knowing your work. You probably have to prove yourself harder as a woman. You have to show that excellence. And that helps with the respect. When you know what you're doing, when you do it well, it makes the conversation easier. Now, when you're in meetings, do you have people that say what you've said
Yeah.
and then get the accolades for it?
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes that happens. But I think our work helps make the conversation easier. Our work helps us establish authority. Now, it probably might not be necessary for a man to have to put their work first, but I don't mind doing that. It's helped us get to where we are. It's helped us gain the respect and referrals. And with referrals comes that respect. When you do good work, people respect you, I guess.
I enjoyed learning about just what it takes to be a woman navigating law in this specialized field. I'm also very passionate about connecting African women in similar fields because, as we learned in last week's episode, mentorship and sisterhood go a very long way. So I decided to link Odunoluwa up with Janet, who is 1 year into running her law firm in Nairobi.
The legal practice is quite patriarchal. It's quite male-dominated. So sometimes navigating your way in there as one, let me call you a sheep amongst wolves, can be quite intimidating. But what I'm learning and I'm appreciating in working with my female partner and also working with a lot of other women-led businesses is that the approach is different. Yeah. Same legal service, same legal support, but just a bit of a different approach.
Absolutely.
A softer approach, a more empathetic approach, a better approach.
Yeah.
Than because men like to go at it with facts, figures, numbers. Let's close.
Exactly. You're more in touch with your client. What I've realized is the clients feel like you want them to succeed.
Yes.
They hear you say it. They hear you.
Yes.
You can convey that. With men, okay, let's just get this done.
Yes.
And, and then working with women is just so amazing. Like,
it's easy.
We've built something that I must say, I'm quite proud of.
Yeah.
We have a team that I'm extremely proud of.
Good.
That is growing.
Yeah.
We did have our first male hire lasted, so probably like less than a month. Our first male hire. We now have male hires, but initially first 4 or 5 employees were women, and then first male hire was a mistake, and it was partly we should have a man on board, right? Yeah. But that didn't work out well.
Yeah.
But now we have some very good male team members who work excellently well with women. Yeah. It's still 80% women. We're women dominated. Yeah. And it gives me joy right now. I have 3 team members that are pregnant and I'm happy we can support them without thinking, they have no fear about losing their jobs the sacrifice that have to be made. So that really gives me, I'm glad I have the opportunity to do that. To have 3 women pregnant at the same time, although it's a bit destabilized. I'm like, okay, I need to hire a guy. I need to balance things. But I'm glad we can do that.
Yeah. And it's the same comment we got with my partner when we were starting out, because some friends of ours from across in Uganda, they were mostly male partners. So at some point, even decision making was like a football match. Like it was winner takes all, winner takes all. And then they say to themselves, we must get a female partner to sort of just balance all this testosterone. Yeah. And people keep on asking us, don't you feel like you need to have a third? I told them, no, it's working for us. I feel like whatever men can do, we can also do. The only challenge is just over the years getting some deals across, because you see now for men, it's the golfing course, it's the country clubs, it's the cigar lounges, it's all those things which as a woman I need to be at home, I need to help with the household, I can't be seen in a cigar lounge, what would I be doing there? So you find that it's easier for men to navigate towards deal making faster, better than women, because women tend to be, why can't we meet in a nice restaurant for brunch in the middle of the day when the sun is out? Men, no. Most
deals get done.
In the middle of the night, which most women are not able to sustain. So again, that's the challenge of now a women-led business.
Are there things you framed differently for your own company in terms of policy, in terms of how you would lead, in terms of power structures, that you felt this is a more effective way than what I've seen being done?
I in my career, I was blessed with good bosses.
Yeah.
But I also had a front row seat to someone who wasn't blessed with, which was my co-founder, Funkola, was
Yeah.
it? Because while we both work in the same department, we, in our last career, I was doing core legal, her strength was compliance.
Yeah.
And so she had another boss. And I had a front row seat to bad leadership. And we both knew what we didn't want. That was an experience that left us with what we're never going to build, what we're not going to do. So when we started off, even before we had our first employee, we knew we wanted to build a place where people wanted to come to work every day, where they love what you're doing, where they're committed to what you're doing. Now, I don't believe that if you're working somewhere, if it's not your business as an employee, that your purpose should be your job. No,
Yeah.
your purpose should be your life.
Yeah.
But there should be aligned goals. You should believe in the vision of the company. It should be something you're interested in building. So one of the things we're doing is we look for people who have an interest in what we're doing, who actually love entrepreneurs. I can't tell you what anybody on my team made out of university. And that's something a lot of law firms do. You can't apply except you have first class or you have 2-1. I don't know what they make. Because that's not what's important to us. Anybody can learn. But who are you at the core? So, yes, we want to see your technical skills. I don't know if it's about being women, but we also rely on our intuition when we're recruiting. Who are you as a person? By the time so now we have multi-stage, now that we're a bit bigger and we've been around longer, but by the time you're interviewing with the partners, we believe that you've already proven your technical capacity. So when you're chatting with us, we want to know you as a person. Who are you outside of work? What are your values? What are your principles? What's your empathy level? How do you want to be a part of this? And that's what we're looking for. So it's a conversation, it's a chat. Everyone that comes in, yes, we've made mistakes a few times, but more often than one, everyone that comes in wants to be there because they want to be there. It's not just about, getting a job. It's not just about putting food on the table, but okay, this is a journey I want to be on. So first, it starts from recruitment, the kind of people we work with, the kind of people we bring in. We have, for a small company, we have a strong alumni. I'm in touch with most of the people that have worked with us. Some of them have referred people to us. Some of them we refer to them with what they're doing now. We have a very strong culture. You come in and this is something I learned from one of my jobs. It's almost like brainwashing, but it is so we can be on the same page. Do not just come to earn a salary, but come knowing that you're part of a bigger thing. Know your role in the company and know your role in the nation. What are you doing for the economy? What are you doing as Nigeria? So we do have a protracted onboarding. 1 month, we're onboarding you.
Wow.
And you're just learning about why we do things, how we do things, how we work. We're digital first. We're very strong on technology.
Yeah.
We call ourselves a remote first office now. We weren't always like that. We were in person at some point. But now we're remote first, go to office twice a month.
This is like music to so many people's ears. This is like, can my boss watch this?
Go to office twice a month, and it's a lot of. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Yes, we do like to do. We're trying to do things differently.
Yeah.
We're very transparent. Everybody knows our finances on the team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge bone of contention, isn't it? Like
It
in
is.
other organizations.
Yes, it is. And for now it's working.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to change. But for now it's working. And, you then know. But it helps people know this is what we need to do to get to the next level. This is what we need to do if we want a fat bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So when we have our annual retreats in April, everyone is discussing together. This is what we made. This is why this was the bonus. We use a tech system for our measurement, for our goal setting. So instead of doing just KPIs, we actually use OKR. So every quarter we're coming together to discuss each person's key results as against their OKR. So we work almost like a tech company, but as a law firm.
Because of the space you're in, right?
So we work almost like a tech company in a law firm. We're in August, and this is part of why we were quite open. So in our retreat this year in April, one of the things that came up was, it's high stress, we work hard, there's no work-life balance. And for everyone that's left, part of their exit interview, the only negative thing they usually have to say is the work-life balance. So it's something we're like being deliberate to correct. So this August, we had our first summer hours, which will continue now. It's an annual thing. We closed 2 p.m. every day. We read a book together. We had a book club. Everyone had to share what they were doing post 2 o'clock every Friday. What did you do? Did you actually spend some time? So people went on walks, people returned to football, and they would share their picture, the lunches. We had wellness talks, and we all loved it. So we're like, this is here to stay. So from next year, every August, we close 2 p.m. and we just have a good time. So
all bosses are being sent this episode. Like, something interesting was said in here. But that's incredible. Because it does show a system where it's deliberately listening, but also there needs to be action. For people to feel seen, they have to see something change, which I think didn't exist. And then also the incorporation of tech. Because also these are the people you serve, right? So you might as well learn from them. Now we'll get back to our riveting conversation with Odunoluwa shortly, but first, did you know that the Nigeria Startup Act established a formal governance framework that brings together regulators, government, agencies, and the tech ecosystem, reducing fragmentation in how innovation policy is implemented? Let me know in the comments. There is something incredible that you were involved in, which is the creation of the Nigeria Startup Act. Could you take me through that? How did that even happen? Where did it begin?
By the time it was getting done, this was like the third or fourth attempt, and we had been part of some conversations of the previous one. So when this was getting done, one of our clients was actually actively going to be involved and like, okay, we're setting this up. Are you would like you to be a part of it? We know the work that you do. And this time there were promises. First I rolled my eyes. Okay, we're doing this again. Like, no, we're serious. And I think this is all, the leadership also matters. So this was being driven by Oswald Gobaida, who at that time was a special advisor to the president on digital technology. And he was passionate about this. And what was different this time? Because the question was, okay, what is different? Why is this going to happen and why didn't it happen? But now, beyond having the political will and the political backing for this to happen, there was also a very deliberate collaborative design that went into it. So there's the initial think tank that we were part of, and it was a situation of we are going to work with every agency in the government. But what made it succeed, I think, was the collaborative approach.
What are some of the risks that happen when innovation is like 10 kilometers ahead of regulation and regulation is playing catch up?
I think it's inevitable that would always be the case. But should it be 10 kilometers? I think it's the distance that needs to be reduced. But innovation, I think it's a problem if regulation is ahead of innovation. Because if regulation is ahead of innovation, it's going to stifle growth. So regulation will always play catch up. But how are they playing catch up? And how fast are they playing the catch up? There are a lot of things that we did in the early days. We're like, look, nothing exists for this, but this is how we're going to do it based on what exists. This is how you can do this business. This when we start. Okay, so Nigeria has a digital sub-broker license now, but at the time when our first few clients were going to do that, these are clients that allow people locally buy US or UK stock from Uber. You want to buy stock, Amazon stock, and you can buy it locally. When they all started, there was no regulation, there was no license. Like, okay, so how do we do this? How do we do this without breaking the law? So advising those clients also gave us opportunities to influence the regulations and comment on the regulations when they happen. So it is, I would say this for, at least for the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, and the Central Bank of Nigeria, that they've been collaborative. Yes, they always have to play catch up, but they invite those that are already shaping the conversation innovatively. So, okay, what do you need? How can we work with you? They will clamp down on some, but then they listen as well. And there needs to be that conversation. Tech founders, some think, I think we're beginning to wise up. The tech founders are beginning to wise up. A lot of them initially thought we could exist without regulation. No, regulation is very important. Regulation is important in safeguarding the entire ecosystem, for the stability of the ecosystem, for the sustenance. We're not building things just for now. If you're building things for the long term, it needs to exist within a framework that allows for ethical practices, that allows for safeguarding. So tech founders are beginning to know that they need to have these conversations. And if you don't put yourself forward to have these conversations, regulation will be built around you that won't work for you.
It won't include your opinions, your views.
So you have to be part of that conversation and not shy away from it and not fight with those who are tasked with creating that regulation. So we see it as a collaborative. I personally see it as a collaborative endeavor that innovation and regulation should work hand in hand. Innovation would always go first, but regulation should not be too long in catching up.
Where do you feel like there's a drop-off of when women enter these specialized legal spaces? Where does the drop-off happen?
So the way the legal field works, you have what we call practice and in-house. Practice is you're working as a lawyer, and in-house is you move into a company regardless of the sector. In the beginning, most people start out practicing, but what you find, because when you're in practice, it's a bit unpredictable. Your timing is largely dictated by your clients. So the work-life balance doesn't exist. It's a myth. Even the income predictability, right? If you're not doing well as a firm, it determines the way you can pay your team members. It determines how you can pay your employees. But when you're in-house, monthly there's a salary. And you know the policy on leave, you know the policy on everything. So you find women moving in-house as they grow in their career for that stability, because they then have to balance bringing up a family and every other thing that it means to be, that comes with being a woman and their jobs. And you then see that it tapers out in practice. You have fewer women that rise to the top. You have fewer women that become partners. You go on any big law firm website, you can count how many female partners are at the top. So what we're finding is, hopefully when we build firms like TLP and other people that are building like we are, that you can have more women that rise to the top, that become partners, that they find that they can be a woman, regardless of what that means to them, whether it's being a family woman, whatever that means, and still succeed and excel in their career, so that we can have more women having those conversations.
And stop the dropping off. Do you feel like mentorship would play a role in
absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you asked me about when I started, and I said, look, it was men I had to reach out to. Not because I didn't want to reach out to any woman, but there were no women for me to ask for advice, for to like kind of mentor me to build this. It's a different conversation today. I know a lot of women investors now that I can reach out to or ask a young lawyer to reach out to. I know a lot of women founders now. And of course, there are more women lawyers like us that can, pave the way. So mentorship plays a role. I needed to talk to someone, but and not that they were bad men, they did help me. I look at the lawyers I want to be like right now. My examples are male lawyers in the industry, but now I want to be that woman that others are looking up to.
Yeah.
I want to be, so mentorship plays a role. There's, when you see someone like you, then you feel you can make it.
Yes.
And you doubt yourself less, because if she can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
And there's also it's not only about direct mentorship, even the distant mentorship. So while, yes, I may not have been mentored by women in my profession, I have been mentored by many women from a distance in other professions that are trailblazing. There are people I look at what they're building, and I'm like, yes, I want to do this in law as well. So I'm hoping I can be that for younger female lawyers that they want to build what we're building as well at Help Advisory. I was talking to a few of the younger lawyers and saying who my mentors were. My mentors are male lawyers in Nigeria. The lawyers I want to be like in Nigeria are male lawyers. They're successful in their niche. They're successful businessmen, and they're successful in their legacy building. And there are very few women in that role. And, that's what we need to do. We need to be able to be that example.
I find that women open the door and leave the door open more for women as opposed to men. With men, there'll always be that boys' club. It's my high school friends, it's my campus friends, it's my drinking buddies and all those guys. So it's easier for them to approach them for a deal, strike a deal, as it is for them. Because men are able to just walk out of the house on a Saturday and Sunday and go and chase a deal. But as a woman, I had a schedule, I had an itinerary, I had things I had to do. So I have to keep to that, then attend to you. But then you're realizing as the profession grows, as things are digitized, most of these people are happy with a WhatsApp call, a Google call, a virtual call, and all those things. But that's not to say that there's still not a lot to be done.
And in the same spirit of like mentoring, if there is a young woman in the legal space right now watching you who wants to specialize, right? And she wants to go into a specialized field, what's the one piece of advice you can give her?
Be curious. Just be curious. Learn. Ask questions. Just like soak knowledge. Learn a lot. No shortcuts. I think it was my generation that said, oh, you live in a microwave one. Now it's even faster than a microwave generation.
Oh my goodness, yes.
No, those things that seem illogical and hard are the things that make you stand out. I think it's Peter Thiel that said in his book that it was addressed to tech founders that sometimes when you're starting, you do things that don't scale, so that on the long run, so you do some very menial things that don't make sense so that you can scale. And that is what it should be. The things that don't scale, the things that don't look flashy.
Yes.
Do it. Learn the grunt work. Be curious. Do the hard work. Prepare yourself, because those are the things that will make you stand out in the future. Examples, writing letters is a lost skill.
Yeah.
We're not going to stop writing letters in the legal profession, but because everyone uses email, and you find that young lawyers do not know how to say, they end letters with best regards. That's an email. These are things that don't scale. They seem very little, but they're the things that make you stand out. So be hungry, be curious, learn from looking at others, learn from studying others, be mentored from afar, be mentored in close proximity, and just consume knowledge.
Zooming out and looking at the African legal landscape and future, what excites you about that? Like where we're going in terms of the women who are shaping that future of Africa when we're looking at it from a legal standpoint?
Oh, I see so many women playing a role in the future we're building. We're living in a generation where women know I don't say they can have everything because nobody, even men, can have everything, but they know they can do anything they want to.
Yes.
When you can identify what you want, it propels you to work towards it. So I see more women participating. There are more women that are applying to law school. There are more women applying to be lawyers, and they're finding alternatives to stay in their career rather than just shift and go in-house. Not like in-house is a bad choice, but you should only do that because you want to,
Exactly.
not because you have to. So they're, even with technology giving alternatives to how you practice law, making it easier to be able to, like I said, we're remote first. So it gives women options. If you're a mother, then you can work from home and be able to balance it with being a practicing lawyer, as against when your only choice was you had to go to the office, and then you're wondering how do you balance that with childcare and all of that. So I see room for more women rising. I see room for more women leading, steering the conversation. We don't even, I don't work hard. We don't go out of our way to have more women on the team. They interview better.
Yeah.
So they just end up getting on the team. So I see a lot of great talent out there. And as long as, whether you're a firm that's, whether it's male partners or female partners, there are a lot of women that are employable and are bringing a lot of things to the table.
Now, earlier, I had asked you, how do you think women navigate traditionally male-dominated sectors or fields? Let us know in the comments, but as you do that, here's what Odunoluwa thinks.
For women to navigate such fields, you have to be good at what you do, and you have to be true to yourself. As women, don't change who you are. We have empathy, we have kindness, so work with our kindness, work with our empathy, and just be the best. Put in the work, and be a woman while you're doing it. We don't need to change who we are at the core to navigate male-dominated fields. We can be ourselves and excel in male-dominated fields.
Odunoluwa Longe reminds us that the future of law is not waiting to be inherited. It's been built, negotiated, and designed in real time. And when women shape the legal frameworks of innovation, they shape the possibilities of entire economies. Difference She Makes is part of a wider effort to understand how women experience the law and how those experiences are shifting. I would love to hear from you. After watching this episode, do take a few minutes to complete the short survey linked in the description, letting me know what you connected with or even learned in this episode. Your responses help us understand whether these stories are changing perceptions, deepening understanding, and pointing towards the changes that still matter most. In our final episode, we go to South Africa to ask, what happens when women's leadership in law moves beyond individual excellence and into impact at scale? Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of Difference She Makes.
Every woman and girl has a right to be free from violence, whether emanating from the public or the private sphere. How can we be given something that is so legally flawed, and we are told not only to be thankful but to look at the glass as half full or half empty? Who cares about what's in the glass when the water is contaminated?
Yeah.